construction in general, especially in the custom area, is very reactive and pretty rigid. There's a lot of skilled craftsmen. They're builders, but they're not builders of business, and they're not builders of experience. And so I came from a much different background because I didn't grow up framing and holding a hammer, and came from more of the customer service side. And so when you take the largest personal experience or personal expense that you're ever going to spend in your life, you should be treated the very best. And it wasn't happening. And so I don't necessarily feel like we're disrupting the industry as much as we're doing what should have been done.
Hello, friends. Welcome back to the Attorneys on Accident podcast with your host, Joe Wirth and Ash Blackburn. We are sitting down today with BJ Chandler. He is the general manager and the face of Millhaven Homes. It's just Utah, right?
Yeah, primarily.
Okay, primarily in Utah. I mean, they do some architectural and interior design work nationally. Mm-hmm. We're praying that they come to Vegas really soon. Yep. There's a desperate need for a custom home builder, but BJ has worked his way up through that company. He's now the general manager running everything. It was not what it is today, right? And we're here to hear that story. Why don't you just give us a little bit of the history?
Okay, you bet. First of all, thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for your time.
I love to talk about this journey because I think...
By the way, sorry to interrupt.
No, it's all right.
You flew down from Utah.
Yeah.
Spirit or a private jet?
Yeah, it just rolled in.
Okay, middle, somewhere in the between.
Yeah. So you have to tell the girl next to us, I think, had some interesting piercings. So that was fun. I love to talk about Millhaven because it has been a crazy journey. It's been one of the most rewarding things I've ever been a part of, but it's also crazy, that industry in general, and we'll talk about it. But we're 16 years into business now. We do, I would say, anywhere from 12 to 14 custom homes a year, which is pretty heavy considering most of the competitors that we work with, they don't carry that type of load. We started actually selling houses that were semi-custom with lots already included that were around 300.
Yeah, price range 300.
Yeah, 320. You'd pick one of 14 plans and pretty basic stuff. I mean, you guys probably see a lot of that here in Las Vegas.
Basic customization.
Yeah, it was kind of like, here's a standard package and you can pick one of these 4 packages and this is what it's going to cost and there's a couple upgrades. Well, we did one thing that was different than other semi-custom builders, and I think this is what really catapulted us forward and then turned us into the custom home company that we are now. We said you can make the customizations and we're not going to double charge you. Like, for example, most semi-custom builders, if you put in a separate tile, they may pay $800 for the tile, but they're going to charge you $1,600, right? Yeah. Those are the levels that we're talking about. So we just said, we'll just charge you whatever the upgrade is. Well, that started to get out of control. We didn't put a cap on it. And so all of a sudden we started to do more houses with more customizations, and we really were losing a lot of margin because we weren't charging anything extra and we were working a lot harder. So one day...
Do you work harder? I guess that would be the question. Like when I was telling you before the podcast started about my tile situation, if I pick a more luxurious tile, it doesn't cost any more in labor for you to install the tile, does it?
Oh, it's such a loaded question.
Yes.
Because it depends on the type of tile, right? And a certain price point, you might be dealing with something that has fissures in it. It's not level. It's handmade.
So it can.
It can, yeah. And at a high level, I think that's probably one of the trickiest things you run into is some of this stuff is brand new. We've never dealt with it before, and we don't know how it's going to perform.
So to make a policy across the board where you're not going to charge for the extra, the business is going to lose money.
Yeah. And it just felt like we didn't want to go to the clients and make them feel like we were nickeling and diming them. That's just not a good experience when you're spending all that money. But as we sat down and we looked at our overall operation, we said, we really are more of a custom home builder than we are a semi-custom home builder. Let's just make the pivot. And so it was a big jump, and we did, and we hit right at the right time. Now, part of
What year?
That was probably 9-10 years ago. That we went to the custom space. And one of my roles specifically at that time was not only to handle the sales and make sure we had business, but it was the marketing piece. And I think we were on the front end of some innovative marketing, and it really catapulted us to the front.
And that was your background, was marketing. You didn't come from a construction space.
Yeah, so I have no construction hands-on skills whatsoever. It's really
Still, even after 16 years?
yeah, my wife usually takes care of all that stuff. She's really good at it. So I just will hire someone to do it, right? Don't want to waste time doing it. But yeah, I have an advertising and marketing degree, ironically, but I've always been in the construction space and have loved that space. Have loved to build and create and be in this high-end world. So fast forward to now, just to give you an idea of the type of products that we do, they're typically on average about 10,000 square feet. We have one project right now that's about 25,000 square feet. It's really cool.
25,000.
Yeah. It's got a lot of stuff going on in there.
It's an estate.
Yeah, you can get lost in there for sure. Yeah, the basement alone on that one is 15,000 square feet. It's got a full NBA size court.
Wow.
You can run 3 pickleball courts the opposite way.
Because one, you never know.
Yeah.
You don't want to wait.
Yeah. Has a scoreboard, up on the wall, just like a real high school gym. It's got everything that you could imagine that you could put in a house in that particular house.
Well, I got to imagine that's more fun. Sorry to cut you off. I got to imagine that's more fun than doing, pick a home. Maybe you get a couple, you could express yourself more creatively.
Yeah, 100%.
The relationships are different with the homeowners, probably.
I mean, I don't know if your viewers know, but you build a house with us.
Right. That's how we met.
And your house has some incredible detail in it. And it's stuff that you guys brought to us, but it also has some fun amenities too.
Yeah.
That when we talked about it, you said you want this to be a place where people come together. And that's really up to you. What is it that's going to bring people there?
Right.
And so each home, this is the crazy part. We start over. We never build the same house twice. That's what makes it hard. But we do see a lot of repeat things that have just worked for a lot of the families. And in our area in Utah, families are really big and they like to come home. And so you get a lot of things that draw the kids in, the neighbors, and keep them around.
And that's Salt Lake and Provo, Utah County.
Yeah. We do a lot of, Wasatch County, Summit County. We're into Park City now. We're working in some resort communities up there, like Marcella and things like that. So we really run the spectrum from a primary residence to a second home, and everything in between. So, yeah. So that's a little bit about Millhaven.
Yeah. So Joe and I started an office in Arizona, and we're going through kind of all the bumps and hurdles of being in a new market. Mm-hmm. Practically speaking, what was the difference when your company pivoted from semi-custom to completely custom?
I think the client. Okay. All of a sudden, we're not mass marketing on the MLS. We're trying to go after the one, right? The individual.
That's building their own house. And
yeah.
And we're talking about, I watched, you've done a lot of podcasts, and I think you make a valid point when you're like, listen, this is the most money someone's ever going to spend, and they've worked their entire lives a lot of times to then build this dream home. Mm-hmm. And so what do you usually, and then is the follow-up to that, like, why wouldn't we try to, make this an experience and not just be like, well, you're lucky to have us.
So I think one of the things we did well, some people will refer to it as disrupting an industry. Mm-hmm. I think construction in general, especially in the custom area, is very reactive and pretty rigid. There's a lot of skilled craftsmen. They're builders, but they're not builders of business, and they're not builders of experience. And so I came from a much different background because I didn't grow up framing and holding the hammer and things like that. I came from more of the customer service side. And so when you take the largest personal experience or personal expense that you're ever going to spend in your life, you should be treated the very best that you're ever going to be treated in your life, right? Mm-hmm. Right? And it wasn't happening. And so I don't necessarily feel like we're disrupting the industry as much as we're doing what should have been done.
Always.
Holding a standard.
Right. Yeah. And I've told you, my dad was a general contractor. I grew up in that world. My dad, or my brother, my one brother, he did general construction, tile setter forever. And so that was my summers, was spent on these jobs. And I would watch my dad, who showed me how to work, and he'd show up every day and was exhausted and have to go straight to bed, and then he'd get up and do it again. And I saw that my entire life. So an amazing example of hard work, but it was very sad to see, and I'd hear my mom make these comments of, she's looking at the competition and other custom home builders. He'd build one house at a time. He thought if he did everything and didn't hire anyone out, then he'd be making the most money, and he just didn't understand the business of it, the customer service side of it. And then you'd see these other builders, and they'd start to become these big developers in St. George, Southern Utah, and they knew how to work a room. They knew how to talk to the right people and find their market. And so I think you're doing what has always been there, like in terms of a need, right? You need both sides of it. It's like, it's not just a product. It's so expensive. You've got to have the experience. And especially as consumers change, right? Over the years.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're getting more sophisticated.
Very sophisticated, especially the last 2 years. But I do think that when you have a professional system in place for customer service, there were so many people that we saw when we made the switch to custom. This goes back to your original question. They had a great home. The quality was great. It looked great. They really hated the experience. It was like a nightmare to get to the end.
Yeah.
So many problems that I'm sure everyone's experienced in every market. And so we just said, one home at a time, we're going to change that narrative. We're going to put all the quality that everyone expects at this price point. But at the end of the day, these clients really should love us, because we're going to run into them at a soccer game, at the grocery store, at a movie, and I'm not going to run and hide because we have a bad relationship. You know what I mean? I mean, the fact that I'm even here right now, and we built you a house.
Yeah, we
hung out.
We've been golfing.
And,
and like I said, I wanted to, right? I wasn't like obligated. It's like, no, like genuinely became a relationship that extended beyond the home, and doesn't mean there's not issues. It's just anytime there was an issue, what do you say? You got to run.
You run to the problem.
You run to the problem, and we felt that. And I kind of had my wife. She was doing a lot of the interior design with Madison, and it's like, listen, as a business owner, you got to understand, this is like, you don't get this, especially in the construction industry. So what else did you do that you felt, allowed you to enjoy this upward trajectory? Millhaven starts to, you've done Taysom Hill's home. He's an NFL player and kind of a darling in that part of the, where everybody loves Taysom Hill. You've done other celebs, I'm sure. Like, what allowed you to just keep climbing? Was it just that, or were there other things?
Well, I want to add to that too. So you said, like, in the semi-custom, it's a lot of MLS, right? It's people looking for homes, they're finding them. So like the marketing, what I imagine, wasn't as needed for semi-custom as it was for custom. How did you market to an entirely different demographic?
So yeah, in the lower end, it's really about incentives and how much money or how much house can I get for my money, right? It's kind of a cash grab at that point. In the custom market, you really have to hone in on the individual, and it's about now the experience. Because at a certain level, barrier for entry for us is probably with land in a house. It starts at like $3 million. And to spend $3 million, you really have to have done something financially, right? To achieve success, to have a house like this. And so we're now marketing about the house is not just a house. It is how you feel and how you live. And it should be exactly fit to your lifestyle. And when we build a house, my wife and I, we lived in a semi-custom house to start, but then she pushed back at first. We don't need all the square footage, and we're fine, and it's just who she is. But when we got into a bigger house, she was worried, it's going to be harder to clean. It's just more
maintenance.
It was actually easier. Like, our lifestyle was way easier because we had designed a custom layout to fit exactly how our family lives and our exact needs. We have a court. We have 4 boys. Our kids play a ton of sports.
You still play basketball at a competitive level at 50?
I might, mix it up a little bit.
Even though you should be wearing a boot right now.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I took it off just for you guys. But yeah, marketing to those individuals was so important to understand that they've worked hard for their dollars. They want a top level experience in addition to the quality. But it's not just about the home. It's about how they feel when they live in the home. And so you really have to get into the psychology of things, is what is going to make you want to just be in this house? Because biggest expense, and you're going to spend the most time in your life and have all the amazing memories that you can have in this house. And so it has to be greater than just a transaction on a piece of dirt.
Yeah.
it's a journey to design it and then to actually see it. Well, I mean, when you guys got into your house, I'm sure there were some emotions, because it's not just the process you went with us. It's the fact that you had to work hard to even get to the point to build a house like that, right?
Yeah, and I've been in it. We've been in it 3 years, and we've already said like the best thing we've ever done, because it's just, we wanted to be a place where the kids would come and gather.
Yeah.
They go to college nearby. We see them on weekends.
And you feel that way not even living there. Like,
Not even living there. This is-
permanently.
yeah, like
about that thought process.
right. Everybody thought I was crazy, you know, and I'm building this amazing house up in Utah, and you came down to visit. And
Does Ash know that story?
no, would tell it.
So we had just started, right, designing the house for him, and I was coaching an AAU basketball team. My boys were on it, and I happened to mention to Joe that we were coming down, and he just right out the gate was like, "Do you have a place?" And I was like, "Oh, well, no, we can get a place." And we were right at, I think most of our games were at Bishop Gorman, which was right
Oh,
where
That's by my house. Yeah.
And he's like, "Just stay at our house."
He's that guy.
At first, I was like, "Is he a weirdo?"
Don't stay the circus, dude. Come on, you're better than that.
Yeah, I don't know. I know him. He's super cool, but I don't know him that well. He genuinely, he and his wife just said, "No, stay here." And then this is the funny part. We come down and they're there the first day, and then they said, "Hey, we're going out of town. The house is all yours." Didn't even tell me that they were leaving.
Joe.
Gave us one job though. This is the other part. They said, "Don't lose our cat, Frank."
Oh yeah, we
lost
So then you're
the cat.
stressing. Oh,
We
no.
lost.
I can't wait to tell you the story when I first went to his Utah house. But no, you finish first.
So no, just from the get go, I knew who Joe was. That he had opened up his home to us.
stay in my kid's bed.
Look, not that any other clients wouldn't do that for us, but no one has. And that is a physical testament to just the heart that he has and the trust and the belief he has in people. As I've gotten to know you, Joe, it just seems like you see the best in people and not the worst, which is a refreshing thing, because most people, I think, today are kind of taking that other narrative.
So I'll take that. I'll sit in that, even though this is about you. We're gonna make you uncomfortable with the compliments.
Oh man. So the first time that I went up to his house, I'm hearing all about it. It truly, like, until you go into the house, like, he told me all the things, all the amenities. I had saw pictures of it. Until you were in that house, you could not appreciate the full beauty of it. But he's like, "Yeah, go up there." I looked at the weather. It should be good. No big deal. So me, my fiance, my son, and his mom drive up 6 hours up to Salt Lake City. There's so much snow as we're driving up this mountain.
Can't
And
control the weather, Ash.
you looked at the weather. You told me it would be
I'm
fine.
not God.
It's 2:00 in the morning and I'm sending him a video and I'm like, "Joe, I can't find your house. I think this is it.
No,
I
you can't find my
think I want
driveway."
your
And then-
driveway."
Oh, because it hadn't been
And then she
shoveled.
had to be the one out, like, trying to shovel it with some makeshift, as
yes,
her husband's slowly crawling with the brights on. She's out there cursing my name, and I'm like, once you get inside, you'll see the Millhaven touch.
was
All will
awesome.
be well.
It is an odd driveway, so I'll give you credit
Yeah,
for that.
no, couldn't find the house. Never
It's like
been
a
there.
winding.
Dark,
Yeah.
snow. I just see some trees popping out.
Yeah, but it was an amazing experience, and it was, my wife had a very, like, specific goal in mind and vision, and
Yeah, she did great.
and I think that you don't get to where you're at if you don't understand the psychology of it, right? It's like a luxury brand. You don't just get to, like, charge this much for a bag that does the same thing that bag does, but somehow when you go to the store and you have the experience and there's a guy out there with a suit and he hands you, it's just, you're paying for the experience, right? Where do you draw that line though, in terms of, like, okay, are you really adding value, or are you just kind of pulling the levers of, like, flattering, making them feel a certain way, but also delivering the product?
Yeah. Well, I don't want this to be like a hard sales pitch about Millhaven, but the reality is I think we're right in the middle. There are luxury builders that
Charge astronomical.
which is great. They can get it, and that's what the clients, they want to say, "Hey, this guy built my house," or "This company, I want that bag, I want that car." I think us, where we really have made a killing, is we're going to give you the best value. We have the ability to value engineer some things because stuff gets expensive, but we're not the highest price point. And the reason why we do that is because we build volume. If we were doing 3 or 4 or 5 houses, I think we probably would move to that high luxury brand and charge a lot more.
Do you think you'll go there? You're building this house at
I mean, it's always circling.
25,000.
It's always circling the pad, right? Because having 14 homeowners can That can be a lot.
3 might be easier than 14.
Yeah. So, but I do, it is also 14 opportunities for me a year to gain a new relationship and our people to gain a new relationship. And, you know, houses come and go, but I think relationships are all we take with us after we leave. And so I feel like the greatest value in anything and everything that we do is the people and the relationship you have, whether that be within your firm or, you know, the house that you're building. I mean, I've talked to you guys a little bit about your law firm, and it sounds like that's the value that you place is on your people.
Yeah, I mean, we try to, I would explain it the same way. Like, there's firms that do a really good job marketing, and you know, there's great trial attorneys that, you know, somebody goes to them for their huge case, like, but we fit that kind of Goldilocks, like not too hot, not too cold.
Yeah.
There is that middle, and we want to be that VIP boutique experience where at the end of the day, we want clients where we have a relationship with them. Ash was really good at telling me, like, look, Joe, don't just bring me every crazy client. Like, I actually have to be able to work with them and believe them, and they've got to have the story or a case that I can get behind, because she's just like, my authenticity is going to run into their inauthenticity. And I'm like, but we can make a bunch of money. And don't you want to make a bunch of money? And isn't that what business is all about? And she's like, yeah, but like, let me just, you know, so she's brought me along into that space and understanding, like, you don't need to be people please and be everything to everyone. You'll attract the right people. I was attracted to you. I mean, one of the things you do too is I felt like you were this modern, new, we're going to try to do this different. You weren't quite there yet. Like you were still coming up in it, but you're like, hey, we got this awesome software. And we're like, yeah, we have software too, but it's only as good as the data you put into it, and it's garbage in, garbage out. And you're like, yeah, well, we use it more than anyone else. And I'm like, okay. Ash says the same thing about our firm. We use this software, but it's like, what do you do with it? So co-construct and
we use co-construct, and it is true. I mean, verified from co-construct themselves. It's an international platform, and nobody's built it out further than Millhaven has. And it's I mean, part of having success on a multi-million-dollar project like that is you have to be transparent in the numbers. And so that gives you access to the numbers. It gives you access to the schedule, all the specs and selections. You have to think. This is why sometimes I wake up and I'm like, man, why did I do this? You're talking millions of dollars that are emotionally charged. You're talking maybe 10,000 decisions that have to be.
That's the part that gets me.
You know, pieces and parts that have to be put into a home. Then you're going to have probably 70 different businesses, and by the time somebody touches the house, it's going to be maybe 200 workers. Right. And then we have 10 people internally that are managing each project.
Lots of opportunities for the communication to get mixed up.
Think about all the information that is happening on one project that is never the same. It's never the same project. You start over with a different client, with a different personality, and a whole different set of guidelines, and a different budget and different specs. And to do that at scale, there is no way you can do that at scale unless you utilize technology. And still make the client feel like they are the only person that you're building for. That is the key.
I have 2 questions for you on both of those topics. The first having to do with software. So, like you guys were saying, it's only as good as the data that's getting put into it, right? And so I had an experience with a builder in St. George. They had an app, wasn't accurate in a lot of different ways, was contradictory in a lot of different ways. So that made it more frustrating because that's all that they were using for communication. And I'm like, this doesn't make sense. So, you know, we have really good software at our firm. And I do feel like there's always this push to get employees to understand you have to put all the data in the software. We have too big of a team. We're all working on the cases together. If you know X about the client and you don't put that into the software, she won't know what's going on, right? How do you instill that kind of discipline, I guess, in your employees to make sure that the app actually runs well?
Well, I don't know how long ago you guys started your software, but when we started, we had it for 2 years. We sucked at it.
Candidly.
Really bad. No one wanted to use it. There was a lot of resistance. It was change. It was harder. I don't want to put in all the information. So it's so basic. I don't think it matters.
Well, it feels restrictive. It's like, it's like kids with rules. It's like, don't tell me what to do.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you're like, no, this will actually free you.
I'm struggling with that right now.
I made a hard stance after a while because I knew that we could not scale, we could not grow, and we could not give the clients
You were able to look,
telling them.
well, and that's your job, right? If
Yeah.
you're going to be the CEO or the GM, like you've got to be the visionary.
Yeah. Yeah. So people were pretty mad at me for a while, and they realized I was not going to back off. And so we had trainings and we had requirements, and I was just peppering people, and you kind of have to be a little bit annoying. And then eventually, as they started to put the data in and they started to see the capabilities, it turned. They're like, oh, actually, this is kind of helpful.
Yeah.
Oh,
well, because on
I know
the
where it
back
is.
end, right,
that
the
pain,
client's not yelling at you.
Yeah.
And so you're not having to deal with a problem because you are being transparent and they can see it. Yeah.
But it's no different than building a relationship in a marriage or anything where it's like you have to be willing to go through the painful process of like, this is new, this is change, whether they're changing or you are. It's like there's going to be that window that you're going to be able to sit in it and go through it. And you have to be the parent that's like, no, I'm serious. You're really grounded.
Yep.
Like, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you guys wouldn't be doing it unless there was value. And I think it's just a matter of time before the people that are resisting it see the value. But then once they see the value, it kind of takes on its own, you know. I mean, that's kind of how we try and raise our kids, right?
Yeah.
They're just at you the whole time. And then eventually they're like, oh, it is important to be
They get out of the world. Yeah.
Oh, it is important to like not just
My
be
mom always
wasting
told me
all the
that.
time.
You'll understand when you're older, and I hated it when I got older, and I was like, dang it, she was right.
Yeah, I do understand. So let's get into some of the fun stuff. I mean, as an outsider looking in, you know, I don't want any of our listeners to think this is just applying to Utah custom homes. But I do. So let me ask you, could you take what you've done in creating this custom home business that's forward thinking, more modern, leaving some of the old stodgy ideas behind? Can you take that and put it in a different market that's not culturally, you know, LDS and big family oriented and whatnot, and be successful? Like, is this something people want in other markets?
Yeah, I mean, we're doing that. Surprisingly, Park City is like its own little protected bubble.
Okay, talk about it.
Yeah, it's that's not a predominantly LDS culture up there. It's a lot of out-of-state buyers, people from all over. And they still, at the end of the day, they still want the transparency. They still want the white glove service. They still want the understanding. And nowadays, yeah, it's cool if your builder's a craftsman, but no technology at all just doesn't feel like it's this day and age. And so, yes, it's very helpful, especially for someone who's not local and they can't go look at the project, because of the amount of information and visuals and communication that happens on that platform. They feel like their project is moving, even though they don't see it. You know, they fly in at certain times and check that out. So, yeah, it's applicable. And to your question, could you move it into other markets? 100%. One thing we didn't really talk about is we do things a little different, where most builders are just a general contractor. We realize that someone who is an entrepreneur that can afford something like this, they're pretty busy. They don't have time to manage a bunch of different entities.
Right.
And so we brought in-house the interior design and the architecture. For a period of time, we had the landscaping and the furniture, and we have those capabilities. We don't own those anymore, but
Why?
Why
did you
they
guys
were
continue?
hard.
Yeah.
They were really hard. Margins weren't there, and landscaping doesn't operate with the same transparency as a.
We won't get into that. But we would.
Trauma.
No, it doesn't. And the problem is they'd work with us and they'd be spoiled, and they'd be like, "Oh, here, every line item, here's your margin. I know exactly."
They can't hide anything, and
And landscapers don't do it that way, and so they get to the end of the project and they're like, "Well, Millhaven does it this way. Why don't you?" It just happened to me yesterday. They said, "Why don't you guys do it that way?" And they're like, "We're landscapers."
you didn't hear?
I was just scratching my head, like, okay, maybe you should change the way.
Join
you
us.
business
Yeah,
ideas
join
are
us.
good.
Yeah,
You
join
know,
us.
Millhaven
Oh, we already talked about it.
Landscapers of
If
Utah.
anybody ever dials in landscaping, anyways, but go on.
So, anyways, so now you just hire one company to handle everything, and you're just managing that one company. Versus if you hire an architect, an interior designer, a landscape architect.
And we did. We hired an architect for a minute, and then we found out about you through a referral of a friend we trusted, and not having to have them not on the same page from the get-go was a massive selling point. Actually, one of the biggest selling points.
Yeah.
Was
And I like your landscaper, right? But we
I'm talking about the architect.
Oh, the architect.
No, so then we paid a deposit and we gave that up. It was $5,000 and it was painful, but it was like, we're going to shift and just do it
That
all
architect
with.
really hates
Yeah.
us still.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah. So I think for me, it's kind of a no brainer because entrepreneurs are entrepreneurs everywhere, and so if they want to save time and have convenience and have a better, more streamlined, well-connected, transparent process, hiring one company to do everything all under one roof is
Yeah.
Now that's
Do
harder.
the houses look the same, do you think? Because you guys have
It's a great question,
the
Ash.
gyms,
This golf simulator.
golf simulator, the pickleball, the sauna,
Yeah.
the cold plunge.
Right. The gym,
You're naming it.
the ice machine.
theater.
The
Ice
theater. Oh, the
machine,
theater.
the
You got to have
theater.
the theater.
Oh, the built-in bed, the bunk beds,
Kids
the built-in
playhouse.
kids playhouse.
Like there's a list, and Ash and I talked about this. We're split. Can you take that and if you went to Colorado or Las Vegas, anywhere, is it going to be like, what are you talking about?
I think so, yes, because so we do this parade of homes every year in Utah.
Tell us about the Parade of Homes. What is that if people don't know?
Okay, so the parade of
Can't
homes.
wait to go. I
Yeah,
just
have you
wanna
never
know.
been?
I had no idea
Oh,
it
you're-
existed.
you're
Our
gonna-
marketer told me about it, and I'm like,
You're just going to
yes.
be like, what is happening? So in our parade, I think we have up to 40 houses that they'll display, and they have some semi-custom, but for the most
So
part,
state by state, like Utah has their own.
Utah has the biggest in the country. It's actually the best
Oh, wow.
in the country. So if you're going to make a visit, that's the one you want to go to. Well, Utah County does, because Utah has 5 parades in different counties. Each county will have their home builders association that will organize it. In fact, I don't know if you want to know this, but there was a push a few years ago to have one down here in Vegas, and they asked me to get on a Zoom call.
What happened? I got to know.
And they brought in some builders, and
I think I know where this is going.
Talk about the parade of homes and how good it is for your market and how it drives competition and it breeds creativity and we need more custom homes. Those builders just were like, you're an idiot. We don't want to do that. We're fine. We're making money. We don't want to do a parade of home. That's a bunch of extra work. And they just
We are like
shut
the
it down.
city of track homes.
Well, right, and it's just it's all at the.
There's probably a few companies that do it, but,
Not
but by and large, they want
but not
nothing to do.
no. I mean, not really. Like that's people have to move back to Utah or go somewhere else or go in the Northwest and buy some land and
Yeah.
and that's got its own problems. But like you just don't have that because Vegas has always just been like, let's get another house in this and
Yeah, kind of mass development, maximize the profits.
it's all profits, right? And that takes I think you have to be a visionary and look 5, 10, 20 years down the road to know that like, okay, yeah, we could make a lot of money right now, but do we care about the relationships? Do we care anything beyond just that? I mean, so
in our cultural documents for our people, one of the segments that we have it's called people over profits. And so we've always made that a focus that right thing is the right thing and the money will follow the right thing.
Amen.
And I just think it's karma, blessings, whatever you want to call it in the universe. It comes back to you when you treat people right. And so not trying to maximize ground and stuff houses in for us has actually been counterintuitive to what people think, but it's been better because cities often want us to build in those areas because they know the type of product they're going to get with Millhaven and they're not going to be all stuffed together.
yeah, lower
So,
density.
yeah. But so back to the parade. In a nutshell, every year you're going to have all these custom homes. You buy a ticket, it's $25 or whatever. And you can tour all these houses for 3 weeks. It's actually a nightmare for me when we do it because I have to sit there in June, which I love June, and just talk to people all day. Yeah,
That's not fun.
It is fun until what's that new term they have there? You're not an introvert, but you're not an extrovert. The middle one.
Yeah, the middle one.
Yeah, I'm like right in the middle. So there are days where I am just
Drains you.
so I come home, my wife's like,
Yeah.
I'm a ghost. Everything's gone.
It's
Don't
gone.
talk to me.
Yeah.
Pillow. I'm
You
out.
can't smile anymore and
Yeah.
ask, how are you? And
I do love it. It's fun while you're there, but it's exhausting.
yeah, don't be a celebrity. Just make money. That's not worth it.
Yeah, exactly. So we put in a house 2 years ago. Was it 2 years ago, 3 years ago that won the overall
Called
the Birdhouse.
the Birdhouse.
Yeah, it was 15,600 square feet. It had all the outdoor amenities, but it has a skate park in the double basement.
Do people not like to leave their homes? I just
Yeah. So talk about the
These
psychology
kids
of this.
go skate there and ride their bikes all the time. It is It is awesome.
So it's just is the attitude bring the party to us? Is it because we don't drink in Utah and they're like,
yeah, part of that is true.
That's
But like, can you not go to a park?
Yeah, but it's so cool in the winter when you're in your basement and you're playing basketball and
there we go.
You're skateboarding and
so you play basketball. You're a game guy. You golf. How much of this is you injecting the fun into these homes? Like, I'm curious. Like, can you take credit for like, hey guys, you should do this. This would be a ton of fun. And talking people into doing basketball gyms when they don't even play basketball.
Yeah, I will admit that, because there is one thing that I say. It is true, but I do say this to clients. We have never had a client regret putting a gym in their house, like a basketball court.
A basketball court.
They have only regretted not doing it big enough.
Yeah.
And once people hear that, everyone comes to us, unless they're maybe like an empty nester, and even some empty nesters do it. They're trying to figure out how to fit some type of nice big rec space like that. There was a point where almost 10 out of 10 houses had a court. It's dialed back a little bit because we are building for some older couples now, and they're kind of downsizing, like 6,000 square feet. But yeah, courts are kind of a staple in Utah.
I'm curious. Do you ever run into like, I have a nephew. He's somewhat liberal, and he came to the house in Utah, and next thing I know, I'm getting some kind of backhanded like animosity where he's a tiny home guy, right?
Yeah.
He's on the front of this like, no, this is what's wrong with America and consumerism. And as he's enjoying the sauna, right? It's ironic. So we're having a nice deep conversation, but it was funny. Do you ever feel a tinge of like, okay, this is so excessive, this is so unnecessary, and I'm part of this?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah, I do.
Do you not agree with that it is excessive and unnecessary?
Oh no,
because it is.
No, I do.
Do what you want to do.
I wanted to see. I wanted to see.
Do what you want to do with your money, but it does feel excessive.
He's on the hot seat right now. Not me.
You know how I am when you get a little judgy.
We'll talk after.
No, that is a very that's a fair question, and I'm going to give you a very truthful answer. Yes, there are things that we do. I have even said to clients, "Hey, dude, do you really need this?" And they're like, leave me alone. I'm going to do it. I've always wanted to do it.
I need the bowling alley.
Yeah. But there are things that people will put in their house that I know in 2 or 3 years will be obsolete for them. Yeah. It's like, it was cool at the time.
Yeah, look,
a bowling alley. Come on, you don't need a bowling alley.
No one's going to bowl that much.
Go to the bowling alley.
Right. Yeah, like, is it going to become centralized vacuums and those old things that you see in those like VRBOs where you're like, oh, this is...
I have one of those.
Remember that?
In my
right?
house.
You see those and you're like, this is something that like, oh, everybody's going to have this, right?
Yeah.
Or the intercoms in the house, and you just yell.
Yeah, some things come in and out. There's actually, even in our $20 million specs in Park City, they are telling us to keep them, they call them dumb houses now. Don't put in all the tech.
Oh.
Like the full integration where you can just shut it down, with an app.
Yeah, they're going the other way. Like my son just got a light phone, $700 for me to not be able to send him a funny meme. Like he's like, Dad, I'm not getting any of these. And I'm like, I'm going to take this phone back. Like I want you back on the apps and everything. But it's like a black and white sterile phone. So there is a movement, right, that pushes back. So, but you'll tell clients like, okay, chill out. And
I mean, I always try and start small, especially because they'll come in like, so if they say, hey, I have a $5 million budget, I try and get them to design something at like 4.5.
Yeah.
Because they're going to scope creep no matter what.
Yeah.
And I don't want all of a sudden at 5 million, they go to 6 million and now they're stressed out.
Yeah.
Like I never wanted to spend. I mean,
you
had a neighbor that came in and said, I want to design an 8,000 square foot house, designed a 14,000 square foot house.
And regrets it. And
ripped up the plans, went back to do another one, said we're going to get it at 8,000, drew a 15,000 square foot house.
Yeah, no. Yeah. So, but yeah. There's just some of those clients.
It's easy to draw. It's easy to draw big square footage.
Yeah.
So there's a point where it's pretty excessive. We have a guy that's going to build a house. He has 36 cars. And he's tired of storing them in an offsite. He wants them all at his house. And so we're going to design this house. And it's about an acre property in a neighborhood. It's our development. We really have to be careful about how we design it because we don't want it to look like
a car lot.
A car lot. Yeah. like a big storage unit.
Like a Carvana. They do the tower.
Yeah. So we're working with an outside architect on that, and it's taken a long time to figure that out. But yeah, do I think you need a 36 car garage at your house? Personally,
Do you need 36 cars? Actually, also.
that is also a very
That's
valid
another
question.
podcast,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. But
Yeah.
but the
But
Parade
this
of
is a
Homes,
good question. This
yeah.
is a good question. It's kind of what our podcast is. I'm very different from Joe politically, what I look like, ethnically.
'Cause you're a girl and he's a guy.
That's that's the only
That's
difference,
true.
right?
But that's kind of the fun of the podcast is like, I understand your nephew's point, right? Like, when is enough enough? And we talk about that on the podcast ourselves. Like,
Yeah.
for us having made the money, we can now come back and go, it's really not about the money.
Mhm.
Don't get me wrong. It's great to have, and I don't want to not have it, but it's really not about that. But you have to make it to kind of like have that idea. And so I would imagine somebody making a 25,000 square foot house, like, when is enough enough? So what are your personal thoughts on that?
Like if I was in the position and could afford to build a 25,000 square foot house, I would build 3 houses in 3 locations that were much smaller
Mm-hmm.
because I would want to take my family to different places. You know, I don't think, I think at some point it becomes counter. This is just a personal belief.
Yeah.
I think you can put too many amenities where your kids grow up that way. They think that's how life
Yeah.
really is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We're dealing with this guy, and he said, one time he said, I knew I messed up when my grandson, my 8-year-old, said, he said, what do you want to do for your birthday? He said, well, I just want to go to Disneyland. And he said, oh, that's cool. No, you know, he said, no, I just want to take the kids in my class and fly them to Disneyland on the jet. And he was like, I knew at that moment we had really screwed up.
The
you
whole
know?
class.
Yeah. So how do you just like unwind
Mm-hmm.
all the success that these kids have had? Now, some people, it's fine. I'm not judging them for that, but it just is a matter of what do you want your children to turn
the
out
world
like? Yeah,
looks like. Yeah.
yeah. And when they say to their, what does your dad do? And they're like, oh, you guys don't have a jet?
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, like, oh, you know, your mom works too, you know? And you're like, oh, feels really awkward and uncomfortable. Now, those are our clients. Not all of them. A lot of them worked really, really hard for their money, and we target people who have had some type of exit. You know,
You're like, we refuse to work with inherited money. Okay, we only want.
that's so different. So it is. It is. We have
Oh, you're not kidding,
no, because think about it.
right?
It's not earned.
And so when you're going through that,
There's an expectation, and we've done it where people have just come into easy money. They treat that so different. So can I tell you the story?
Yeah,
I'll tell you the story. This is one of my favorite.
we're here for good stories.
Okay.
So
This couple comes. You're probably going to judge me a little bit, but this is my job. This couple comes into our office. I do all the client intake, right? Set them all up, and they come in a Honda Pilot, right? It's a little bit banged up. I see them out the window. They come in pretty modest clothes and sit down, and they're really unassuming, quiet, just really nice, and we're talking. Well, my job is I have to sort of fish a little bit for budget. Can you afford
where are
it?
we at?
Yeah, I'm going to treat everyone the same. I've had a lot of people come in and say, hey, I have $1 million, and I'm like, $1 million is a ton of money. I will help you find someone. It's just not us.
Right.
You know, because I'm not disrespecting him. So I'm fishing around, and I'm like, so what do you do for work? You know, in a pretty casual way. And he's like, well, I don't work. So where do I go from there?
Yeah.
You know, like we're in here talking.
He doesn't give you like opportunity.
Yeah,
to ask
like a
another
$4
question.
million house. And so there's this awkward silence. And I'm like, I don't know how to recover. And he goes, but they're young too. He said, oh, but I did sell a company. And I was like, oh, thank you. And turns out he sold something. I hope they don't see this podcast. I don't think he would, but he sold something to Snapchat. And he has been retired for like 6 years.
Oh, wow.
Right? They live in their same house that they had when he was developing the app as a startup. They drive the same cars. Their kids. Do you guys have a DI down here?
Yeah, Deseret Industries.
Yeah,
It's
Deseret
basically
Industries.
Goodwill.
Yeah. It's a Goodwill. Their kids shop at Goodwill. Their kids have zero idea that he has
Oodles and
been given millions and millions of dollars of money for this app, right? And I was like, okay, this is really interesting. So we start talking. I mean, this is going to lean into the Elios culture a little bit. They said, we knew we took it too far when last Christmas, the bishop came over in our ward and he brought a Christmas basket, and in the Christmas basket was an envelope of cash.
Oh my God.
The ward members had got together because they said, we know times are tough and your husband's been out of work.
Gigs up.
Yeah, and they were like, we took it way too far. Way too
giving
far.
it back.
Oh my God.
No.
Yeah.
So the point is, the reason why I thought of that is they come in, they build the house for cash. They design some of the coolest things, like very personal to them and their children. They're thoughtful. They're mindful about it. They're kind of embarrassed about the footage,
right?
How big it's growing.
What was it?
It was just right around 10, but he did some really cool things to make sure his kids were interactive and they understood the value of what he had done. She did they call it a tea shed or a fairy shed out in the back.
Oh, how
it was
cute.
ordered from London.
That's Ash's jam.
That's a jam. I'd be in there all day.
And she said, I've always wanted to be social and have tea parties. That was like her big thing.
Yeah.
So we did this cool landscaping for him. But I will tell you, they were the most humble, nicest, appreciative people we have ever worked for. You put in a tile. Yeah, after
us.
Yeah, exactly. You put in the floor, the tile, the carpet, whatever. So they'd come over and they're like, "Oh my gosh, that is so beautiful. You guys do such great. You are." At some point, you're like, "Are you genuinely this nice?"
Are you messing with me? Are you winding me up?
Yeah, like they genuinely are that type of people, and so.
But to your point, right, they could appreciate the stark contrast versus a lot of your other clients, right, are used to having things a certain way. And I think that goes to the point of what your nephew was getting to, right, is that when you lose perspective because enough is never enough, I think that's the point. And it does ruin America.
So the quote, I think it goes, hard times make strong men.
Okay.
Strong men make easy times. Easy times make weak men.
Yeah.
I think that's
So where are we in that cycle, Ash?
I don't know. I'd ask you guys. You guys both have sons. Are you making...
I've got 3. How many sons do you have?
Weaker men by giving them easier lives?
I can see a stark... Oh, go ahead.
For sure
I
didn't
can see
come from that, right?
No, not at all. And I can see a stark difference from my oldest son, Truman. He's 23, to my 13-year-old. My 23-year-old, Dad, I don't want you to help with the car. Mom's talking about helping them just with the car, right? He pays for his own school. He's got this, I want to do it like you, all on my own, pay for my own college. And it's weird that I'm even kind of like, well, let us help you a little bit. And he's like, no, I'm going to do summer sales, pay for it all. So that's not going to be my 18 or my 13-year-old. And we just try to maybe do other things to offset it, because that exposure, they're never going to come in and look at the tile and be like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. Right? Because they're just not going to have that overnight, no money.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Our kids are
saw you
exactly
through the development.
Right. Well, and he
right?
would hear my stories and he'd see me working. My younger kids don't think I work anymore. Ash might agree with that. But it's a different kind of work. It's softer stuff. BJ, back me up here. Come on. Relationship.
Exactly. We have 4 boys, and I would say the exact same thing that you said. I mean, our oldest he wants to do it on his own. He's on our phone plan still, our cell plan, and he Venmos us $5 a month every month.
Really?
For his phone, because he doesn't want any handouts.
Your younger brother or son won't do that.
It's like, he kind of is like, he'll send me some shoes and say, can we buy this? And my next question is, how much are those? He's like, $300. I'm like, what? What made you think you could just randomly buy $300 shoes? No. Do you have a job? He's like, no. It's like, okay, there's your answer.
Okay, I failed you.
Yeah.
So it's tough. It's tough to navigate. I don't think there's a right answer. I think that it's just like that couple. Be mindful.
Yeah.
Be intentional. You know?
Yeah.
I'm going to make you feel bad because I already know the answer to this. So what books do you read? What are some of your favorite books? Because he doesn't read books.
I'm not a big reader.
He made fun of me for putting a library in my house. He said, what are you going to use it for? And we're like, to play the piano and read. And he's just like, what, you think you're better than us? Kids that play the piano?
Yeah, we have like a library space in our family cabin up in Montana. And my sister she just reads books all the time. And I'm like, you go on vacation. My wife gives me a hard time about this. You go on vacation to read books? That's not what it's about, in my opinion. You're there to enjoy the place, right? You can read a book anywhere, but for her, it's different. I just never caught the book bug. I listen to a lot of podcasts.
Yeah, because you got to you're gleaning information from somewhere to be better at your business. Like, where are you getting that from? Just observing people?
Yeah, and a lot of that. Like, I try and I am intentional about the people that I surround myself with.
Okay.
Friend groups.
Make them a little bit better than you. Like,
yeah, because you know, you're the sum of your 5 closest friends, if you've heard that expression. And so I have a lot of really cool friends. They're all a lot more successful than I am, but it's helped me. And it always gives
Makes
me
you think bigger, right?
Yeah, just is the same thing.
Yeah, like it's interesting. Sometimes that's the main ingredient to get you to level up is to surround. I joined a men's group for a year, and Ash was like, "What's going on?" And I'm like, honestly, I'm around all these people that want to be the best husband, the best father, and I've got great, amazing friends, but not all of them had that exact same mentality. And so I was starting to feel like, well, that's, you know, you're the average of your 5 friends. I was starting to like, I was maybe the top of that average, but that was holding me back. I surround myself with all these ex-Navy SEAL military guys, and they're just like, you know, you didn't wake up at 4 a.m. and go look at the sunrise and then go hunting and make your own food, breakfast. I mean, you're kind of like, oh, shoot, I can do more. I can do better. Like, right? Like, I can do a lot more. Yeah. And it opens your eyes. Yeah.
It's been good to see also people that are successful that are humble, like we talked about those clients, and those that are not, because it shows you who you want
to be and who you don't,
and who you don't want to be, right? And there's a stark difference. I think Millhaven specifically, one of the things we've been really, really lucky to have over the years, we've had so many awesome clients. There are people that have done well. They've made a stack of cash, but you'd never know. We don't attract a lot of the people that drive Ferraris.
Flashy.
Yeah, because they're not that style, right?
Yeah, you're attracting your brand.
Yeah. Someone's driving a Ferrari because they want
you to
see that they're driving a Ferrari, right?
Or they love Ferraris.
Or yeah. So we haven't had a lot of those people, and I think we've been lucky. I had a guy sit in my office one time that had a big exit. He's an ex-Navy SEAL guy. Still love him today. Saw him the other week, and just a great dude. But he said, I have a budget. I can spend a lot more, but I know what I want to spend. And he said, at the end of the day, I have to account to God for every dollar that I spend. So I want to be intentional with it. And you're my team to help me get me there.
Wow.
Clear communicator.
And I was like,
no pressure.
Okay, we're not messing around with this budget. Like, we're going to nail it. And thank goodness we already had those processes and systems in place, so I wasn't nervous about it. But it just opened my eyes to how critical these projects were that we build, because we are stewards of their money. And we cannot screw this up, and we can't blow the budget, right?
I have one more question about just the internal building of that team, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, in order to offer that kind of service, you have to have a certain kind of team, because you have a lot of homeowners who have big opinions and ideas of what they want and expectations. How did you build the team to be able to deliver the product that you're offering?
You know, it didn't happen overnight. Mm-hmm. It was a struggle in the beginning. I think it's stripping down the ego is a big element of that, because at the end of the day, we're all people. No matter what we do for a profession or, you know, where we came from, what we look like, we're all just people. And I think with our team, we've talked a bunch about what I just mentioned about we're stewards of this home, and we're going to leave a product that these people are going to live their greatest and maybe most tragic memories in, right? And so don't just look at this as a transaction.
Yeah.
One of the things we do when we start a project, the first thing, and I don't know if we did it with you, Joe, but we send our entire team that's going to work on the project the very first meeting with the client at their lot, because we want to look at the end in mind. But secretly, I want the clients to meet our people, and I want our people to meet the clients. Right. And even the people behind the scenes that don't interact with them on a day-to-day, we have them fill out a bio that we hold internally. It's not public. And we ask them very personal questions about their family, what they like to do, their hobbies, because we want every person that touches that transaction to understand there is a human being behind this massive dollar amount that we're working with. and it's come over time, and you can't have people that are going in there with an ego. They have to have this mentality that they're looking out for people first, that it's not about profits. I mean, it is about profits because you got to stay open, but if you put the people first, we feel like the profits will follow.
That's awesome. Well, before I turn you back to Ash for the last question, I want to ask you, looking back on your life, you're 50, like the round 50.
Yeah, just like last month, man. It's crazy.
All right. Well, you're letting yourself go, bro. You got to get back in the gym. If you're not watching, this guy's got to get back in the gym. But you're 50. That's a nice sort of anchor point to look back on your life and say, okay, you've taken Millhaven from what it was when you started 16 years ago. It's now this. Clearly, it's better product. Was there a moment, and was there a corresponding thought in that moment where it really was like that pivotal moment where you're like, okay, I can do this, or you had to face down a fear, or you had a mind shift, like you had to abandon an old mindset and adopt a new one? Was there a moment that you can think of?
Yeah. I might get emotional about it. I think for me, I mean, I'm a very spiritual guy, a religious guy. I was in construction for a number of years and went through 2008 and absolutely wrecked our family. You know, was having a hard time holding on to the house. There was a point where I didn't know if I was going to make a house payment. I mean, it was tough. Like everything overnight just went up in smoke. And just looking at your family and knowing that as a dad, your number one responsibility is to provide for them and protect them. And there's nothing more important than that. I can't watch what's the show with Will Smith, The Pursuit of Happiness?
Oh, right.
That thing
Got you.
I can't. It's too close to the heart, right? Because I've always kind of been a salesman at heart, and in a salesman, you eat what you kill. And so I had this moment. I was going to take a job, and really prayed hard about this opportunity with Millhaven. It came out of the blue, and it was a very clear message that this is where I should be. And I didn't really know why, and it didn't make sense. And I actually went back to my wife, and she said, absolutely not. We're not getting back into construction. Mm-hmm. And it took me a matter of time. And then she kind of came to that same spiritual impression. And we said, yeah, this is where we need to be. So you take that, you take your family, that there's nothing more important than providing for them. But then if you realize that it doesn't matter how many dollars you have, it doesn't matter what you've achieved, if you have the Nobel Prize or you're the MVP of the NBA or whatever, you're still a guy or a girl. And at the end of the day, the only thing you take with you is your relationships within your family and your friends and the people in your network and your community. Mm-hmm. And so for me, it's always just been a focus about do the right thing, take care of your family, and put value on the people. And if you do that, somehow everything else will fall into place no matter how hard it is. I also believe that there's a solution to every problem. I say that in the mirror every single day.
Literally, or?
Yeah, I have a mission statement that it's 2.5 minutes that I have memorized that just
is the start of it. I'm good enough.
It's a little more upgraded than that, but it talks about, you know, my roles as a father and a husband, you know, as a son of God, and then it gets into business and friends and fitness and things like the things that make me who I am.
Just priming you.
Yeah, and it just makes me understand and believe that we're here really just to bring joy. We all have to have a job, but if you don't spread joy and have fun doing it, why are you doing it?
We've talked about this, right? Yeah.
Why are you doing
enjoying work?
Yeah.
Why?
And get out. Go find something because life really is too short, and you have to love what you do, and you have to love the people you work with, and it's up to you. Well, I heard this quote the other day on a podcast that said, I think it was a Mel Robbins podcast. She said, as the CEO or the president or the owner, you bring the weather. Mm. Every single day you bring the weather with you. Mm-hmm. And I've been guilty of sometimes bringing some dark clouds to work. And I look back on that and I really regret that, mm-hmm. You know, our people are just too important. And the people we build for, no matter, I mean, we're not perfect at Millhaven, and we're going to make mistakes, and not everyone's going to like us. But at the end of the day, you do your very best. You stay a professional, and if you have, integrity, you can feel good about yourself. You can go to sleep at night and feel good about what you do. So that was kind of a really long, random answer, but
no, I appreciate it. And
good.
Ash has the last question. She's going to try not to make you cry with it. Yeah.
Well, that was a good segue, I guess. Do you feel like you've gotten to 50, to your career, to your place as a dad and a husband on accident?
Wow, that's a loaded question.
We get all different. We've gotten all three responses.
Yeah, there's no right answer.
Some things are just pure luck. I'll answer it this way. Some of the people that we build for that are really successful, I am shocked. No, I really am. I'm like, how did that happen?
Yeah.
Because you are definitely not the smartest person or the most charismatic, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, I respect it because they aren't, and they still did it, right?
Right.
But part of it, there is some luck.
Mm-hmm.
It goes back to what you think your purpose is, and are you headed in the right direction? And I give a massive amount of credit to the woman that I married, right? She is who she is, and she's the best example that I could ever have. And that probably has been the biggest contributing factor. One of the things that I say in my mission statement about my wife is that she's the center of my universe, and I prioritize as such. And I just think with her being the happiest that I've ever been, I'm with her. You have to do other things you can't be happy with your wife and then go be a different person with the people you work with, right? So a lot of the stuff I've had to do to really be a good husband and a companion, it just translates into the workforce and into other relationships. And so, I would say some of the stuff is kind of by accident, but a lot of it I would credit to her and certainly God's hand. So, yeah.
Amen.
Well, that
was a good question.
Yeah. Well, thank you for flying down here, giving us this precious time. I know you're ridiculously busy. Where can people find you? They want to know more about Millhaven Homes. Maybe they're thinking about taking all their hard-earned money and, executing their dream house. Where can they find you?
Yeah, just millhavenhomes.com. Pretty simple. Don't read our Google reviews because we have a lot of bad reviews because of our driving habits. So.
Oh, jeez.
Everybody's commenting on your...
That's like our only negative. Yeah, only negative.
Instagram, where are you at?
Instagram, it's just Millhaven Homes, at Millhaven Homes. Those are kind of the main mediums. We have some stuff. We've done some YouTube stuff. We've talked about doing a podcast. I'm telling you, this is the best podcast I've ever been on. Having the two of you.
Go on, just keep going.
No, I'm dead serious. Because I've done a lot of single ones and I've done stuff with my friends, and no disrespect to them if they watch this, but this is like hardcore stuff, like true, real, in the weeds stuff. I really
awesome conversation.
No, I've really enjoyed having it. I hope it's it's valuable to somebody, but for me, it's been valuable.
At least one of my 5 sisters will listen to
Okay.
this. She's our number one fan.
She is.
Okay,
Tammy,
good.
shout out to you.
Yeah. Well, thanks for coming on, and
Definitely.
yeah,
Thanks for having
appreciate your time. Awesome conversation. Very powerful.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thanks,
Thank you.
guys.
Hey friends, before you go, make sure to like and subscribe to the Attorneys on Accident YouTube channel and check out another video for more conversations on growth, business, and life.